spricht Frau Miller und heute sprechen wir über Befehle. Befehle, that's the German word for commands. So, here we go. Meme des Tages. Es steht da, wenn man hört, dass es kostenloses Essen gibt. So, hören means to hear. Yeah? Wenn man hört, when one hears, dass es kostenloses Essen gibt. Do you remember the word Essen? Essen means, as a noun, food, right? Gibt, es gibt, it's an expression, there is, when there's free food. Yeah. And heute gibt's ein Hund anstatt einer Katze. And today we have a dog instead of a cat for our meme. So, moving on. Wir sprechen über Befehle. Yeah? This is Deutsch 2, Kapitel 9, Lektion B. We're going to talk about commands and how to make commands. You will find notes in your take-home packet if you want to get those out and follow along. So, there are 3 ways to say you in German, okay? Remember, if you're talking to one person that you know well, you say du, right? If you're talking to a bunch of people, you guys, what do you say? You all, you guys, ihr, right? And if I want to talk to somebody with respect, I use Sie with a capital S, right? So because there's 3 ways to say you in German, we also have 3 different ways to give commands. Because you think about it, when you give a command, you're telling one person or a group of people to do something, you, right? So knowing that, we are going to move forward. Here we go. So, du, we're going to start with how to make a command if you're giving a command to someone that you know. Maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your little brother, or the dog, right? So, it's pretty easy. All you do is you take the infinitive of the noun, right? Like gehen, spielen, laufen. You just take off the en, right? So, if you take off the en, it's also always followed by an exclamation mark. If you take off the en, right, we have the verb gehen. How do you say go? Just like a command, like go. You would say geh, all right? And number 2, schreiben, right? How would you say schreiben? You have the verb schreiben means to write, take off the en, and you got it, schreib, right? So it's pretty easy. Put those in your notes if they're not there already. Now we're going to move on. Oh, sorry. Vorsicht, be careful. Okay, there are some exceptions. Verbs with stem vowel changes can cause problems. Okay, we're talking about our kettle verbs, right? Verbs that either go from an E to an I, like treffen goes to triff, or E to an IE, like sehen goes to sie. Only these kinds of stem vowel changes are actually going to be formed by going to the do form and just removing the ending. So what that means is Essen would turn to is. So if I was going to say eat bratwurst, right? I'm telling a little kid eat bratwurst. I would say is bratwurst. The E from Essen, right, changes to an I, okay? But there's no T ending. We would expect a T ending in the do form, but this is a command, right? If I was going to tell someone to look or to see, I would say sie, right? The stem would be ze, but this is a stem changer. The E goes to an IE. So these can cause some confusion. Let's practice. What would I say if I want to say give or geben, right? Stem changer. The E changes to a I, just like it does in treffen. So it would be gib, right? Gib. How about sprechen? Sprechen also goes from the E to an I. If I was going to say speak German, I would say sprich Deutsch. And how about lesen? If I was going to tell someone to read a book, lesen is also a stem changer. It goes from an E to an IE. So it would be lies ein Buch. And helfen means to help. The E changes to an I, just like sprechen did and geben did. It would go to hilf. If I wanted to say, hey, help me, I would say hilf mir. All right, let's move on now to the ear form. All right, so I use that if I'm talking to a group of people or talking to 2 people. I'm like, hey guys, clean your room, right? Talking to 2 people. So again, it has an exclamation mark, and it's basically formed by taking the verb down to the ear form, but you just don't write in the subject ear. It's implied. All right, so let's practice. If I was going to say, come over, the verb in German is rüberkommen. Notice how the rüber goes at the end, right? I would say kommt rüber. Notice this T at the end, right? Why is the T there? Because I'm talking to two more people. It's in the ear form, okay? The difference between talking to one person and two people is simply this little T. If I was telling one person to come over, I would say komm rüber. If I'm telling a whole bunch of people to come over, I would say kommt rüber. Okay? All right, moving on. The Z command. Sometimes you have to ask your boss, hey, be careful, right? So in this case, it's basically formed by inverting the subject and the verb, as if we were forming a question. In fact, the only difference between asking a question and giving a command is simply the question mark or the exclamation mark at the end of the sentence. Okay, you keep the Z. So we actually do keep the subject in this situation. So if I was going to tell Mrs. Jones, listen to the music, right? Let's find our vocabulary. Musik hören, right? So I'm going to take the verb hören, right? That would go here. And then I'm going to keep the Z. It's kind of like the polite way, okay? And then Musik. Hören Sie Musik. All right. If I was going to tell Mrs. Jones to speak German, okay? Deutsch sprechen. I'm going to take the verb sprechen. It's going to go first, inverted word order, then my subject Sie, and then Deutsch. Sprechen Sie Deutsch. Okay, last thing. There is something called a wir command. And you're like, how can we command ourselves to do things? In English, we say, let's sing a song, or let's fly a kite, okay? That let us is a command form in German. So let's go, I would say, gehen wir. It's very similar to the Sie command in that the subject is still here. It's not implied, but you do have the inverted word order, verb, and then the subject. Okay? All right. Let's give it a go. Oh, command forms, I apologize. If you ever go to Germany or see signs, you'll see this form. We're not going to have it on a test or any of the quizzes, but you should just be aware. You may encounter this other form with legal documents, at the train station, at the airport, but they're basically it's command forms, but they just use the infinitive form. Okay? It's kind of like the Z form, but they don't use the word Z. So, nicht rauchen means don't smoke. Türen schließen, close the doors. Okay? So, just be aware that is technically a command form, but we're not going to be producing it in class. Okay, and sein, right? Sein is an irregular verb, and it's very irregular in the command form. So if I want to take it to the do form, okay, it's sei net. So it's really kind of weird. It's actually going back to being almost a regular verb. You know how we just took off the en? Well, here there's no en. It's just an n that you take off, and you get sei. Sei net means be nice. If I was going to tell a group of people to be nice, I would say seid nett. Okay? It's almost regular. You take it to the ear form and don't put the ear there. All right? This is where it gets kind of weird, and that's with the Z form. If I was going to tell Mrs. Jones to be nice, I would say seien Sie nett. So this is where it's really kind of weird, right? Seien is a word we've never even heard before, and it's not really, it's kind of close to sein, but it's kind of crazy. So what happened is I took sei, and then I added an en back on. And that's the difference between saying, are you nice or be nice in the command form with Z. So just be aware, this might show up on some of our practices. Use your notes to get that right. Okay? And seien wir nett means let's be nice. So, all right, let's do some practice. Several prefix verbs. We actually had a couple examples in our notes. And again, the prefix does come at the end of the command. So rüberkommen changes to komm rüber. If I was going to tell, hey, open up your presents, guys. Macht eure Geschenke auf. Okay, the prefix just comes at the end of the command. Schlagen Sie uns bitte etwas vor. Hey, why don't you please suggest something? Okay, this is a command, being nice, right? Have the en ending going along with the Z. Remember, Z commands, you keep the subject there. The ear form and the do form, it's implied. You don't need to write it. All right, now we're ready for our practice. I want you to tell your friend what to do before and during the party, okay? So one person you're going to tell to do, hey, set the table. The verb is decken. And remember how to form the do command? We just take off the en. So it would be deck bitte den Tisch. Verb comes first. The subject is implied, okay? And then comes the predicate, the rest of the sentence. Bitte den Tisch, okay? Here's Nummer 1. Einen Kuchen kaufen, right? Kaufen's the verb. Take off the en. Kauf einen Kuchen, okay? Buy a cake. All right, why don't you stop the video right now and give yourself a chance to practice these, right? Sprechen is the verb. Take off the en. Have the predicate. All right, and now we're back, okay? We already did Nummer 1, and that answer was Kauf bitte einen Kuchen. All right, what'd you get for Nummer 2? Sprich bitte mit Anke über die Party. Did you remember that sprechen is a stem-changing verb and it's going to go from me to an I? If not, fix it and make a note in your guided practice so that you know that that's a mistake that you made. Nummer 3. Räum bitte das Wohnzimmer auf. Here we have a separable prefix verb. The auf's at the end of the sentence. Okay, you're telling one person, so there's no T. Just take off the en. Spiel bitte mit unseren Freunden Karten. Komm bitte etwas früher. Come a little earlier. Bleib bitte bis 9 Uhr. Bleib comes from bleiben, means to stay. All right, second practice. Now we're going to talk to a group of people. Herr Kruger is a teacher, and he's instructing several students what to do. So he's going to tell his class. The example is Heidi and Renata. And we have the phrase, jetzt nach Hause gehen. Go home now. So again, he's talking to a group of people. So we take gehen and we take it to the ear form. So it would be geht with a T at the end. And then jetzt nach Hause would just be the predicate. Heidi and Renata, comma, because that's who I'm talking to. Geht jetzt nach Hause. Go home. All right, how about Nummer 1? Herr Kruger is talking to Dieter and Sonja. Then you put a comma. And here's my phrase. Die Hausaufgabe machen. Do your homework. So how do you make a command again when you're talking to two people? Take it to the ear form. Machen in the ear form. That's second person plural. Macht. Macht die Hausaufgaben. All right. Stop the video and complete 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we'll go over the answers together. Okay, and now we're back. Okay, we already did Nummer 1 together. That was Dieter and Sonja. Macht die Hausaufgaben. What'd you get for Nummer 2? Tina und Anna spielt Klavier. Angelika und Hans lest das Deutschbuch. Again, lesen is a stem changer, but in the ear form it doesn't change. So make sure you do not have the L-I-E here. Uwe und Lisa schreibt einen Brief. Sascha und Rolf, sprecht nicht so laut. Don't speak so loud. Holger und Maria, beginnt das Lesestück. Begin the reading selection. Susi und Anja, kauft 20 Karten. All right, guys, good work today. That's all we have time for today. Please check your agenda and make sure you complete all of your work for today. Auf Wiedersehen.